Story time on how I found out my dad wanted to do the nasty with me. Okay, so boom. I was 9 at the time, and my dad was 30, and my mom was 29. Me and my dad were close, but we weren't that close. You get what I'm saying? Me and my mom, on the other hand, we were besties. That's my best friend. She a real on the dance floor. Anyways, one day while my mom was at work, my dad asked me to come sit on his lap. Now, let me remind you that I'm 9 years old and I don't know what's going on in my dad's mind, so I just sit on his lap. Then while I was sitting, he started moving me around his lap while moaning. At first, I thought he was laughing, so I thought it was a joke, so I never told my mom. But then, it started happening every day. He only did this when my mom wasn't home. I became extremely uncomfortable, so I finally told my mom. My mom asked me how did it look and sound, and I showed her. She immediately ran to my dad and slapped him. Like for part 2. Part 2 on how I found out my dad wanted to do the nasty with me. Okay, so boom, like I said, my mom ran to my dad and slapped him. Then my mom told me to stay in my room while they, talked. She told me to get ready for bed, so that's what I did, and I went to school the next day. And guess who picked me up? Yeah, my dad. But I thought it was all good because he took me to the park and nothing happened. But I was wrong, because once we got home, my dad thought my mom was working, so he tried to do the nasty with me, and he tried to make me do stuff with him. But the gag was, my mom was in the room sleeping. She usually got off at 6, but today she got off at 2, and I got out of school around 4. Anyways, while my dad was trying to make me do things with him, I started screaming. My mom was sleeping, so once she heard me screaming, she ran to my motherfucking rescue. When I tell you my mom dealt with him, she dealt with him. Got a divorce, and now I live with her. Most importantly, he never got a chance to violate me. MVP mom. Story time on how my Uber driver tried to kidnap me on my birthday. Okay, y'all, so today's story is my own. And thank you guys for 1 million followers. All right, y'all, let's get into it. Okay, so boom. About 2 years ago in 2019, I lived by myself in my own apartment. At this time, I was at the end of my lease and I was actually moving to another apartment. I had to do everything by myself because I had nobody to help me, so I had to go get a U-Haul truck. This was my first time using Uber because I have my own car. But to get to U-Haul, I had to Uber over there so I could get the truck and then go from apartment to apartment. My first Uber driver bringing me to the U-Haul truck was fine. I had no issues with him and it was pretty normal and fast. So once I was done with the U-Haul truck and I was done moving, I had to return the truck to its location. And then I had to Uber back to my apartment where my car was. Now this second Uber driver, this is where the issue comes in. Y'all, it was literally crazy. My life was at stake. Life for part 2. Part 2 on how my Uber driver tried to kidnap me on my birthday. Okay, so boom, like I said, I returned my U-Haul truck and I waited for my Uber driver to come pick me up. When my Uber driver came to pick me up, right from the beginning, I knew something was off about him. Always trust your instincts. He was a little weird and off, but I told myself that it's only a 10-minute drive and it will be over soon. So I sat on the back of the car and I just stayed on my phone. You know, minding my business. And then the guy just started talking to me like, I guess he was trying to have small talk. But the weird thing is, I couldn't understand what he was saying. And I got footage, you guys. Listen to this. Yeah, I didn't know what he was saying, but I just thought he wanted to do small talk. So I just was like, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, ooh, ah. But then all of a sudden, he went off the path of my route. I was like, excuse me, you took the wrong turn. Then he turned back and looked at me and said, I think we're going exactly where we need to be. It gets worse. Like for part 3 on how my Uber driver tried to kidnap me on my birthday. Okay, so boom, like I said, he went off the path of my route. And I said, excuse me, you made the wrong turn. Then he turned around and looked at me and said, I think we're going exactly where we need to be. I still didn't get it and I looked confused and I was just like, just drop me off at this gas station here. And child, he locked the door. At that moment, my heart sank and I knew exactly what was going on. I was being kidnapped on my birthday. He locked all the doors and put child lock so I wouldn't be able to unlock and leave either. I was under pressure, but I knew I had to think fast and get out of this situation. Y'all, he was driving fast, but thank God he wasn't on a highway, so there was red lights. And I live in Miami, so traffic hour is real. I knew that once he stopped at a red light, that would be my only chance to get the hell out this car. So here we go. We stopped at the red light and I took his head and bashed it into his steering wheel. He didn't see it coming, so I did it pretty easy. Running out of time, like for part 4. Part 4 on how my Uber driver tried to kidnap me on my birthday. Okay, so boom, like I said, he stopped at a red light and I took his head and started bashing it into the wheel. He didn't see it coming, so that's why I was able to overpower him at that moment. As I was bashing his head, I knew that his door was the only way I was able to get out because of the child lock. As I bashed his head, I unlocked the door and I literally sling my my whole body to the front of the car and I was literally on top of him. Unlocked the door, opened it, and I just jumped out. He held onto one of my legs, so I ended up falling on the floor on the street. But at this point, everyone was looking and someone was coming to my rescue, so he just closed his door and locked it. And as soon as the light turned green, he bolted. I was bruised all over, like my arm, but mostly my knees. I went inside the gas station and I waited for my friend to come pick me up. Y'all, all this on my birthday ruined my whole day. But I say that to say this: be careful. Thank you guys for 1 mil. Story time on how my mom and dad did the nasty with my best friend. Okay, so boom. My best friend is 17, my mom is 34, and my dad is 38. Every day after school, my mom would pick me and my best friend up and take us to our home because my best friend's parents worked until late nights. My parents grew to love my best friend and she became part of the family. Well, one night I went to another friend's house to complete a homework project. And when I got back, my parents and my friend looked strange. They were all laughing and just really touchy with each other. Little strange, but I thought nothing of it and I pushed it to the side, and a month later I got a job. So now my mom would pick me and my best friend up from school, but this time she would drop me off at Chick-fil-A. And every night I got back, things got weirder and weirder. But once again, I just kept brushing it off. But little did I know that I was about to walk into some mess. Let's just say cops were called. Like for part 2. Part 2 on how my mom and dad did the nasty with my best friend. Okay, so boom, like I said, things kept getting weird with my parents and my best friend, but I just kept brushing it off. Well, one day I was covering a shift at my job, Chick-fil-A, and when I got there, the person was there. Turns out that they were just playing a prank on me, but that's neither here nor there. So I called my mom to come pick me up because it was so early. My mom didn't answer, my best friend didn't answer, and my dad didn't answer, so I got worried. I had $40, so I ended up just taking an Uber home. Once I got there, I searched my whole house and there was no one there. But I found all 3 of their phones in my parents' room, and my mom's clothes was all over the place. So I called the cops. I start searching the house and I'm on the phone with the cops. I end up going to the back of the house where the spa is. Yeah, our house was pretty big. I make a right turn to the spa and find my dad, my mom, and my best friend doing the nasty in the water. Ciao, like for part 3. Part 3 on how my mom and dad did the nasty with my best friend. Okay, so boom, like I said, I make a right turn to the spa and I found my mom, my dad, and my best friend doing the nasty in the water. I literally screamed so hard and the cops asked me if I was okay. Then I said, sorry, there's no missing person, but there is underage nastiness going on. The police immediately came, arrested them, and they pressed charges. All 3 of those people I call my mom, dad, and best friend tried to apologize to me, but I definitely did not accept that. And I ended up moving into my granny's home. Now I'm 27 and I'm happily married. And I didn't invite none of them. I also have a 1-year-old baby boy and my mom is trying to see him. But nope, my grandparents are my only parents that I know. Just because you're blood doesn't make you family. Good riddance. Story time on how my boyfriend mom went from hating me to having a threesome with me and her son. Okay, so boom, we are jumping right in. One day I was with my boyfriend and we were on our way to the movies and he got a call from his mom. She told him that he needed to come home immediately because of something important at home. But I knew that every time she did this was because she really just wanted her son to stop hanging out with me because she hated my guts. Like she did not like me and I never knew why. Oh, but one day I figured it out. So one evening on the 1-month anniversary of me and my boyfriend, I was getting ready, doing what girls do, and I kind of expected you know what to happen, so I shaved my hoo-ha. I got all pretty and I headed over to my boyfriend's house. I knock on a door and his mom answers. His mom then tells me that I'm an hour early and he's still getting his haircut, so he's not home. I told her sorry, I must have gotten the times wrong, so I asked her if I can wait right here. She gave me a disgusted look and said whatever and slammed the door. Then she said she's been waiting for this moment, like for part 2. Part 2 on how my boyfriend mom went from hating me to having a threesome with me and her son. Okay, so boom, like I said, she closed the door and told me she's been waiting for this moment. She then says that I'm a fine young lady and she's been waiting to have me alone and that we have 1 hour before her son gets there. At that moment, it hit me. I knew exactly what was going on. And quite frankly, I was happy because his mom is hot. She led me to her room and then we started doing the nasty. By the way, she's 29 and I'm 17. Y'all wouldn't believe what happens next. My boyfriend walked through the door, caught us, but he wasn't shocked. He wasn't even mad. It was more like a jealous thing. Then he joined and we all started doing the nasty. I was literally shocked. I didn't believe what was happening. And this went on for 2 years. But then me and my boyfriend wanted to stop and just focus on each other and not his mom. She didn't like that at all. Like for part 3. Part 3 on how my boyfriend mom went from hating me to having a threesome with me and her son. Okay, so boom, like I said, after 2 years of me and my boyfriend dealing with his mom, we wanted to stop and just focus on each other. And oh, she didn't like that at all. She went right back to treating me horribly and hating my guts. And whenever she had a chance, she kept trying to break me and my boyfriend up. But it never worked. It looks like the only way to make her stop is to dabble back with her, but I'm not interested. Eventually, I'll move out with my boyfriend and we'll be all situated. So if you find out your boyfriend mom hates you, maybe she just wants to be with you.
Do you want to become an actor but don't know how? I'm going to share with you guys all of my tips on how to become an actor. I started acting 15 years ago, and I wish I would have known all of these tips before I started. These are things that you're not going to hear anywhere else because the industry doesn't want you to know and other actors don't want you to know. So stick around so you can learn. Tip number 1, do not move to LA until you have your own credits. This way, you have some experience once you get there. All you have to do is sign up to casting networks, Actors Access, Casting Frontier. These websites allow you to create profiles where you can submit to auditions for commercials, plays, short films, and movies. Remember, you need to have experience before you get to LA. Tip number 2 is to have a good resume. Have your picture, your measurements, your name, your credits, and some education. Your resume represents you, and it's the first thing that casting directors, agents, and managers will want to see. I have so many more tips, so please like for part 2. Part 2 of how to become an actor in LA. These are tips that I learned in my 15-year career. Please listen to my tips. You will not hear these anywhere else. They are so valuable. Tip number 3 is to get yourself some education. Get into acting classes, acting technique, scene study, and audition technique. Audition technique is super important so that when you get into the audition room, you know what you're doing. You know how to slate, you know how to do profiles, and you know how to speak to camera. This is super important because you want to look like you're experienced when you get to LA. Please don't let yourself down by not knowing how to slate. Tip number 4 is to know your type. What is your essence? Who are you as an actor? Are you the leading lady? Are you the leading man? Are you the ingenue? Are you the girl next door? The boy next door? Are you the nerd? Know who you can and cannot play, because when you're self-submitting, you have to be able to know, I can play this character, and no, I can't play this one. Pick an actor whose career you like to mimic, who you know can be your type. This is important so that when you get into the casting room, you know what you're doing and who you are. Part 3 of how to become an actor in LA. I have 15 years of experience, and you will not hear these tips anywhere else. I guarantee it. Tip number 5 is to educate yourself at home. Watch movies, watch classic movies, watch plays, read books on acting techniques, read books on people like Stella Adler, watch TV shows, form your opinions about your favorite actors and actresses, learn what you like about the industry, know what casting directors do, find out about casting directors in your area and in LA so that when you get to LA, you already know who this casting director is. Form an opinion, have an opinion about the industry. This is highly important so that when you get to LA, people know who you are and you know what you're doing there and how you want to be in the industry. Tip number 6 is to have at least 3 monologues you know off the top of your head. It can be 2 contemporary, 1 classical. This is important for all auditions, for agent auditions, managers, anybody. Please know your monologues. Part 4 of how to become an actor in LA. These are tips you will not hear anywhere else. I've been an actress for 15 years, so I got you guys. Tip number 7, have a headshot before you get to LA, or several headshots. This is super important because this is like your business card. People want to see what you look like before you get to an audition. They have to have a headshot in order to see what you look like. Please do your research. Look up photographers that you might want to shoot with in your area or in LA. If you don't have the money to pay for a photographer, shoot them on your phone. Have someone take pictures of you on their phone, or if your friend has a camera, have them do it. Look for Craigslist photographers, Model Mayhem photographers. They can do it for free sometimes, but look up examples of what you like, wear colors that look good on you, have your type in mind. Are you the leading lady? Are you the best friend? Are you the goofy type of person? Have all of that in mind so that when you get to your shoot, you know what you want to shoot so you can get a great headshot. My next video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys how to get an agent, so come back for that video. It's super important. Part 5 of how to become an actor in LA. These tips you will not hear anywhere else. I've been acting for 15 years, so I got the tea for you. Tip number 9, how to get an agent. Okay, let's talk about this. Go to SamuelFrench.com or go to the Samuel French bookstore and buy yourself the agent book and the manager book. These books come out every now and then, I think every 3 months or every 4 months, and they tell you exactly what agents are looking for at that time and how they want you to submit to them. They will break down exactly if they want you to send your material through mail or through email, electronic submission or mail. This way you know exactly when and how you'll be sending your material to that certain agent or to that certain manager. You will get responses. It might take a while, but you will, I promise. The first time I got the Samuel French book, I had 150 mail submissions and about 50 email submissions. I got responses within the first week. You guys can too, I promise.